global financial landscape is undergoing a seismic shift, and the United States is taking notice with increasing alarm. The emergence of a potential BRICS currency has sparked significant concern among American policymakers and economists as it threatens the dominance of the US dollar in the global trade. But what exactly is a BRICS currency and why is it causing such a strong reaction from the US? More importantly, how does this affect us as South Africans? A recent major development has added to the momentum. Indonesia has officially joined BRICS, expanding the bloc's economic reach. This shift has not gone unnoticed by Western leaders, particularly Donald Trump, who recently issued a stock warning. In a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, Trump threatened a 100% tariff on BRICS nations if they pursued a new currency to rival the dollar. He made it clear, "We require commitment not to back any other currency to replace the mighty US dollar." This reaction underscores a growing fear in Washington, the potential erosion of the US financial supremacy. But why does the US dollar hold such influence over the global economy?
The BRIC states, there are like 6 of them, and they were trying to destroy our dollar. They were going to say, they wanted to create a new currency. They probably wanted to use the yuan. China, they wanted to use the yuan. And Biden said, well, this is a tough situation. There's not much we can do about that. We can't help that. I said, oh, we can help it. So when I came in, the first thing I said is any BRIC state that even mentions the destruction of the dollar will be charged a 150% tariff. And we don't want your goods. We don't want to partake.
And what would happen if BRICS successfully challenges its dominance? By the end of this discussion, you have a clear understanding of the stakes involved, the reasons behind America's concerns, and most importantly, what it means for South Africa's economic future. Let's dive in. What is BRICS and how did the currency idea start? So, who are the BRICS countries? BRICS is an economic alliance of 5 major economies. Brazil, a global leader in agriculture and natural resources. Russia, one of the world's biggest energy suppliers. India, a tech and manufacturing powerhouse with a massive population. China, the second largest economy globally and the center of global manufacturing. And South Africa, the gateway to African markets, rich in minerals and resources. These countries together represent over 40% of the world's population and nearly 25% of global GDP. But BRICS is growing. 6 new countries joined in 2024, being Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. This marks a major shift in global power. BRICS was originally formed in 2009 to challenge the dominance of the Western-led financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. Over time, they started exploring a shared currency or alternative payment system to reduce their reliance on the dollar. Why? Because right now, if BRICS countries want to trade with each other, they often have to convert their money into US dollars first. A slow and expensive process. A BRICS currency would allow them to trade directly, cutting out the dollar as the middleman. For example, imagine you and your friends are forced to buy from one shop that only takes dollars. But what if you built your own shop where you could use your own currency? That's what exactly BRICS is trying to do. For decades, the US dollar has been the king of global trade. This is because of the 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement, which made the US dollar the world's reserve currency. That meant most countries had to use the dollar to trade internationally, especially for buying oil, gold, and essential goods. This gave the US an unprecedented level of power. If a country opposed American policies, the US would block them from using the global dollar system, freeze their bank accounts, and cut them off from trade. Many countries in Asia, Africa, and South America have grown tired of this dollar monopoly. This frustration is what led to BRICS starting to look for alternatives. To understand why the US is worried, we need to compare BRICS to the G7. The G7 is a group of seven. It is a club of the world's most advanced economies, which are United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Italy, and Japan. These nations dominate the global financial system, controlling institutions like the IMF, World Bank, and the SWIFT banking system. The G7 uses the dollar and euro as the primary currency and influences the global trade rules. If you were to compare the two, the GDP share in BRICS is 25%, while the G7 is 30%. The population is 40% in BRICS and 10% of the world in G7. Also, the key strength is that BRICS has natural resources, manufacturing, or growing economies, and G7, on the other hand, has control of the banking, technology, and finance. While the G7 currently has more economic power, BRICS is growing rapidly, gaining new members and controlling much of the world's natural resources. The biggest game changer would be a successful BRICS currency, which could shift global trade away from the dollar and undermine the G7's financial dominance. Will the BRICS currency replace the rand? There's a lot of confusion about this, but no, the BRICS currency will not replace the rand. Instead, it will act as a trade currency for international transactions, meaning South Africans can still use the rand locally. The introduction of a BRICS trade currency could provide a significant boost to South Africa's economy by reducing transaction costs in international trade, as businesses will no longer need to convert rands into dollars, avoiding the exchange rate losses and bank fees. This could make South African exports more competitive, increasing demand for local goods and strengthening industries such as mining, agriculture, and manufacturing. Additionally, diversifying trade away from the dollar dependence could shield the economy from external shocks linked to the US monetary policy, leading to a greater financial stability. Stronger trade ties amongst BRICS nations, South Africa could attract more investment, fostering job creation and infrastructure development. Over time, increased trade efficiency and financial independence could support rand stability, helping to control inflation and improve the overall cost of living. This is it for the end of this video. Let me know in the comments if you think BRICS can pull this off.